Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Les Hill. I am a coach, an integrity coach for the Twin Cities area, and I also do a little international coaching. Welcome to Accelerated Global Connections. This is AGC Talks, and I'm so happy that you are here today. You are on the AGC Talks event. AGC Talks is like a TED Talk. In a short time, we will have a timed 15-minute talk that is motivational, educational, and inspirational, followed by questions and answers with our speaker. AGC is a global organization developed by our founder and CEO, Travis Sims. Before we get to that, please put in the comments what city, state, country you're watching from, and whether you're hashtag live or hashtag replay. I'll give you a second to do that. You are likely watching in one of these Facebook groups, our AGC member exclusive group, where members can ask for a referral, share a testimonial, or share a link to their business. If you're not yet a member, we invite you to our AGC public group that has over 1,800 people networking daily with our guided daily networking activities. AGC Talks airs live on social media, then is featured on YouTube, Vimeo, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Search Accelerated Global Connections and please hit subscribe. Check out also the AGC Experience podcast hosted by our founder, Travis Sims, everywhere you listen to podcasts. Now, it's time for tonight's sponsor. Peaceful River Promotions is a woman-owned, veteran-owned promotional products distribution company that can serve your every need. We are a member of the Advertising Specialty Institute, which gives us access to unique supplies, case studies, and the best new products. They are your personal consultants that can help you find products that enhance your current advertising campaigns, keep your name in front of clients and potential clients through giveaways, or provide great incentives or rewards for your employees. Their website has over 1 million products from nearly 7,000 suppliers. We make your logo look great on every item, from office supplies, apparel, drinkware, tech products, banners and signs, and more. Currently, we are helping to supply the medical industry with PPE items. Please take a look at our website, peacefulriverpromotions.com, and our Facebook with the same name. We are in Iowa, but we handle everything via email and phone, and items are shipped directly to your location. So it doesn't matter where they're located. She would be happy to help you grow your business. Now, if you'd like more information to get your brand in front of the 1,800 people that view AGC Talks, please send us an email for more information to support@joinagc.com. Following the AGC Talks, our AGC members will meet in our AGC Zoom room to ask for referrals, meet the speaker, and build relationships and do more business. You can become an AGC member for only $1 per day. Just visit joinagc.com. I want to take a moment again to thank our AGC Captain team, leading broadcasts now across the country. Thank you also to our local AGC leaders that support this event broadcast, and the Zoom room. And really thank you to Jason Bukowski. He's the one that takes this video and makes this video look absolutely phenomenal. And with that, I'd now like to introduce to you our speaker this evening, and I'm actually going to bring her up as I give this introduction. Alexanne Stone, helping people experience their very best in personal growth and professional development is her greatest joy. She cut her teeth selling Apple computers in the early days in Silicon Valley. There was no product training, and barely anyone had heard of Apple computers. Those in the know greeted the name with a guffaw. She still runs into people who remember her as the person who sold their company an Apple. For 20 years, she climbed the corporate sales ladder all the way to vice president of international sales for a software firm in Santa Clara. On the way up, she became a certified Neuro-linguistic Programming trainer, NLP. NLP is simply the study of the language of your mind and the mind of others. This is where she developed her expertise in the study of body language. It lets you not only hear, but also see what's underneath what your prospect or customer says, throwing open relationship doors and exploding sales. She now lives in Reno, the biggest little city in the world, with her husband, Tim, and one rescued cat, Brindalina, Spitunia. She loved college, where she became a dancing, Spanish-speaking engineer who paints. And art has remained her favorite hobby. Today, it's in the form of knitting and crocheting and tangling with Zentangle and playing with colored pencils, charcoal, and acrylics. She's also an expert at moulage, or blood, guts, and gore makeup. It's an outlet for expressing her dark side. She served our country in the Air Force during the Vietnam War. They promised her everything, gave her a typewriter, and sent her to Guam. There, she was decorated for her work assisting the refugees during the fall of Saigon in 1975. She is now a best-selling author of Reno Rising. She's a certified coach and an NSA speaker. Please welcome, and I'm going to hand over the microphone to Alexanne Stone. Welcome, Alexanne.
Thank you so much, Les. Les, I just want to say, if things don't work out for you in the coaching world, hire yourself out as the person who introduces everyone around the world. That was so great. I loved it. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here.
You're welcome. I'm going to just put this, get the next slide up for you.
Okay, perfect.
And then just let me know when you want me to turn, and I'm going to boogie out of here.
Okay. Yeah, hang on. All right. So I am so happy to be here. It's exciting for me. And I am the thing that's exciting is I'm passionate about sharing what I believe every leader should know. And that's about the unseen language of leadership, or body language. We will talk tonight about some of the myths, and my goal is that you get the magic of why knowing about body language at a deeper level is so important in every form of communication. Whether it's personal or professional, it doesn't matter. And if you've never heard about NLP, or Neuro-linguistic Programming, it is, simply put, it is the study of the process of how you arrive at a thought or a decision, not the thought or decision itself. So an example would be, wow, I just really love that car. I want to buy that car. I'm buying that car. End of story. There's a process that goes on inside, internally, through lots of different ways. The way you talk to yourself, the way you think, the way you hold your body, the way your eyes move, all of that process helps you make a decision. And you learned how to make these thoughts or decisions in early childhood. And really, we have no business making decisions in early childhood. Sometimes that does not work because those decisions that we've made, especially the negative ones, can sometimes drive our life through the rest of our lives. So NLP helps you rewire those decisions, choices that you made at the early level, and carry the rewire or the new neurological pathways, the new decisions that you make for yourself at the deepest unconscious level, helps you carry those decisions all the way out into the future, transforming your life and enabling you to actually maximize on your success. So let's talk about communication. Next slide, Les. That's me. Help me go through. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Here's where we start. In the 1960s, there was a gentleman, a doctor by the name of Albert Mehrabian, who studied 3 component pieces of communication to determine what he called liking, whether we like a person right off the bat or whether we have some reservations about what we like. And he studied these 3, the way words, the tone of voice, and the body language that we use when we communicate. Here's the thing. You will hear as if these are cut in stone, that this is the way communication happens in these percentages. This is not true. Give or take the numbers, just so you know, it's not carved in stone. Well, what is really important to take away from this is that as much as 93% of your communication, whatever you're communicating, is received at the nonverbal level. That means that all those words we carefully craft are not quite as important as their delivery. And if you think about how many texts, emails, social media comments you read in one tone of voice, and when you find out the writer meant something completely different, you'll get how important it is to be aware of the nonverbal piece of communication. And listening to that inner voice, reading, receiving, or repeating what you've heard, you've developed, or we've developed that inner voice since our early childhood based on our early perceptions, our early experiences, and what we made those early perceptions and experiences mean in our model of the world. Next slide. All right. Why do I care? The first thing I care about is connection. So listening to others by using several of your senses increases the amount of appeal or charisma, whatever you're exuding. It opens the doorway. So when you listen to people, you might not want to not only listen to their words, but also the cadence of their speech and their intonation. Looking at their body language, you can glean even more information about their true feelings. Being able to read others in this way contributes to their perception that you're available to them. That's what we're about. We're about building relationships. It's finally sunk in that that's what's really important. And when you have the tools, the skills that enabled you to lead the conversation, you open the doorway for that person to be comfortable, knowing that they're being heard, and they'll walk in and open up wide, and you'll build a much longer lasting relationship with them. Next slide, please. Okay, another why do I care is congruency. As you can see, she does not quite look super happy to be here. When you're delivering your message, you're listening to another person. or when you're delivering your message, you're watching how they listen to you, and you want to listen to how you're delivering the message. You want to make sure you're congruent in your body language. When you're watching someone else, look for the indications that there's an unmatched message or an incongruent message going on through their tone and their body language, especially in the face. There are so many micro expressions that take place on our face in the smallest split second. And when you're trained to see those micro expressions, you can respond to them. Many, many times, we typically will see something, we'll get a gut feeling about it, but we ignore it. We just ride right over it and keep on going. When you understand this, you get to move a lot deeper. One of the things that we talk about especially is the words, I love you. And this is another tricky thing that you want to watch when you're communicating in body language. Remember I said you'll skip over something? So watch my congruency in this. I love you. I love you. What it looks like out of my mouth is I'm saying the words, I love you. And by shaking my head this way, I'm saying, no, I don't. That's the myth part. This is the part where we automatically receive a message, but never check it out. What you want to do is check with your person, check with whoever you're talking to. Say, you were saying this, but I saw this. What's going on in your head? Many, many times there's deeper inner conversation going on. This could easily be, I don't love you. And it could easily be, I love you so much I can hardly believe it. You really want to take the time to check out what's going on in someone's head at the same time that they're communicating out loud. So you're not mind reading and you're not guessing. Next slide, please. Another, why do I care? When you know this, it helps to close your business or close a sale. Charisma is only useful if we're conscientious about the people and the environments around us. We can rely solely on our personality, but that's really risky. We're most of the time apt to put our own needs before the needs of others. If we train ourselves to be more attentive to the external signals that other people are giving to us, we can then use the appealing parts of our personality to better persuade and influence them. There's a lot of conversation about the word manipulate, and we're not talking about manipulating. There are people who do manipulate during a conversation. However, we're looking at influencing. Open the doorway so you step into another person's world and that person steps into yours. And through that joint communication, you establish a long-term relationship. Charm, after all, is about understanding the true nature of your appeal and learning how to use it in a positive way. Others will be willing to listen. They'll be willing to accept your ideas. And I was just thinking back in the old days when we were talking about Silicon Valley, we were taught the way to build rapport was to walk into someone's office, look around really quickly, find something that you had in common, and then talk about it with them. And I remember one time before I knew NLP, walking into a gentleman's office, and he had football all over his walls, sports all over his walls, sailboating, and he had, I forgot what the third one was, but none of which interested me at all. And I remember being so nervous because I couldn't think of anything to talk about. Definitely creating rapport through something that we have in common is important. However, there is a way to use your body. There's a way to communicate that nonverbal body language that opens the doorway almost instantly to a long-term relationship. And once I learned that, it made it so much easier to go into someone's office. And remember, I told you I'm not a sports person. I did kind of rapport my way into the 49ers. And I was their computer salesperson for 3 whole years. And just because I understood the communication of body language and the ability to be with them, even though football wasn't my favorite sport. Okay, next slide. How many of you have ever heard about your arms are folded? That means you're closed. That is another myth. And one of the things I love to do is bust these myths. So the myth is that this means closed, when in reality, some people are comfortable like this. And yeah, some people are just kind of a little uncomfortable. So they'll do this to protect the solar plexus, or the part that they believe is really important inside of them. So they'll cross their arms a little bit, or sometimes they're just cold. But this is me listening to you with my arms crossed, and I'm still wide open listening to what you have to say. The subtle difference between open and closed looks something like this. You can see that difference. Next slide. Yay. Another common myth is, if you've ever heard the myth about someone looking up to the right means they're lying. When you learn NLP, you learn that the way a person moves their eyes indicates whether they're accessing pictures, sounds, or feelings. And even to the degree that if they move their eyes in one direction to the left, for example, the majority of the population, if they're looking up to the left, indicates that they're looking at a picture from the past. And if they're looking up to the right, it indicates that they're constructing a picture for the future. When someone's looking up to the right, again, you want to check. It doesn't mean that someone's lying. What it can mean is, I thought about something, I found it from the past. Let me think about how I'm going to tell you. And then they speak it out loud. Once again, checking with someone what's going on in your head, instead of just glossing over and not really knowing what someone might be thinking. Next slide, please. Okay. I am going to ask you to participate at home in these body postures that I'm about to show you. Some are powerful and some are less than powerful. These body poses came from a study that a woman who started at MIT and ended up at Harvard by the name of Amy Cuddy did. And this is part of NLP, part of the study of body language as well. I loved the way she presented it. So Amy Cuddy has a TED Talk, definitely check her out. And these body poses, I want you at home, I can't see you. I just want you to put yourself in a body pose so that you can experience what this actually feels like. All right, so next slide, Les. These are called high power poses. And so what I would love for you to do right now is just adopt one of those high power poses while I talk about this, and hold the pose for a little while. Notice, are your shoulders squared back? Where are you? This is the arms up here, very confident, high power pose. Pick one of those. The one where you're standing up with your hands on your hip is the Superwoman pose. Just take one of those poses on and hold it for a moment. What happens inside your head? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What are you hearing? Those poses instill automatic confidence into us. So if you are feeling a little unconfident, adopting one of these power poses will give you the physiology of confidence and will deliver the message of confidence to whoever's on the other end. What I also want you to notice is this a stance that you take with other people? Are these poses you take with other people? And as I show you the next slide with poses, I'm going to ask you which ones you take with who. So these are often the poses of leaders, poses of the bosses, poses of the people who are in charge. Next slide, please. These are the low power poses. Now what I'd like for you to do is shift your body into one of these. And notice what happens to your physiology. Notice what happens to your thoughts. Notice what happens to the way you feel. And if we were in person, you would be speaking with a partner back and forth from these power poses. Notice what happens to the way you want to say whatever it is that you want to say. Can you imagine standing like this, delivering a message like, I'm a body language expert, and I really want to share this with you. So I'm hoping you get the message. Even the words I'm choosing, I'm hoping you get the message. It shifts your entire physiology. The understanding that when you shift your body language, that you can actually shift the response that someone receives on the other end is incredible. Would you back it up, Les, to the high power poses again? Now I've got him confused. He's like, how do I go backwards? I just know it. Which one do you do with whom? Is it a high power pose? Is it a low power pose? How do you interact with other people? That's what you want to do. The first thing you want to do is find your own body language first. How do you deliver the message? How are you carrying yourself? And what's happening to your physiology and the talk that's going on in your mind? Because when that high power pose is in place, that confident verbiage comes out of your mouth, you come across with more energy, and people receive your message as powerful with much more confidence and strength. When you go to low power, switch the slides, please, Les. When you go to low power, the exact opposite happens. You shrink up, shrivel up, and whatever message you're attempting to deliver does not come across in a congruent, credible way. So I'm open for questions and answers at this point. That's it. This is how you can get in touch with me. And then I know we've got some questions. Anybody have any questions?
Excellent. Well, we will open up the microphone. Alexanne, that was absolutely brilliant. And I was trying to keep up with you going back and forward there. And what I noticed was because you were doing some of the body actions, and I was like, oh, I'm going to make you bigger because people were noticing. And I noticed on the chat that people were making the comment of, wow, look how she's doing in the picture, because it made such a big difference, right? We're all tied up like this, or we're sitting back, or all of that. It was just really, really great. And so let's take a moment to look back here and see. I want to do a quick shout out to a few random people here. Yeah, let's see here. Christy Lee Schroeder Thompson is in Cottage Grove. She's live. We've got Aaron Justice. Oh, he is from the Happy Neighborhood Project. He's saying hello. He's actually located in Sacramento. We have Travis Sims, of course, saying hi to Peaceful River. Look at that. And here we go. He did a little shout out to the whole bio thing, of course. And then, what was so funny is, look at this. Alexanne, wow, is there anything that Alexanne hasn't done? And I can answer that, nope. Sean Waite here is networking, and he's back. He's our resident snowbird captain. He's usually down in Arizona during the winter, and he's now back here live in Hastings. Good to see you, Sean. And then we have a Facebook user in Hutchinson. Oh, look at that. On the other side of the Twin Cities. Hi to Bo Young. Let's see what we got here. This is going to be fun. Man, we're really going to be looking at each other's body language in the Zoom room after the event. I love that. That's perfect. Here we go. This is one of our lieutenants here for St. Paul, Dawn Bennett. She's live. She's in Mount Hood, Oregon.
Oh, wow.
So welcome to Dawn. Here we go. Christy Lee, I hate those facial micro expressions.
Yeah, I want to talk about those. Yeah.
Just a little shout out during your presentation. Look at that. So really, really appreciate that. Here we go. First question. How do you feel about emojis in print communication, Alexanne?
Personally, I believe versus feel, I believe they serve a purpose. those emojis emit a specific response in us, an emotional response. So it depends on your personal preference, but they do elicit a physical response when we see them. So if people love them, go for it. If you're not an emoji person, don't do them. Travis, how do you feel about emojis in print communication?
Well, so we have a couple questions here for you. Here's one. How much more is there to learn about body language?
There is a lot more, because we're talking about, I know Christy said something about the micro expressions. There's a whole study, a learning of the expressions that go on in the face, everything from the little teeny weeny tick of underneath an eye to an eyebrow raise, all of the micro expressions. If you've ever watched a poker game, you will see that people will wear sunglasses during the poker game. That means that they are able to control those micro expressions on their face. But human beings, when we get excited, our pupils pin. They dilate, they go small, they dilate, they go small. So they wear sunglasses during poker games to avoid people seeing how excited they are with those micro expressions. There are micro expressions to learn. There's all about when you're facing each other, when you're facing away from each other. How are your feet positioned? Are your legs crossed? Are your legs open? What about handshakes? What about hugs? What about a smack on the butt? What about a pat on the shoulder? What about a touch on the arm? There's so much to learn. And this is just in America. What about personal space and the invasion of personal space? I think once you learn this, it's really powerful. And more than anything else, again, you listen underneath what someone is saying. And it gives you the ability to open the door for another person to walk in and feel safe and feel heard with you and by you.
I wanted to, here's another good one from Christy. It's too bad that our clients wouldn't like us to wear sunglasses during meetings.
Really? There's one body language thing that happens with women. Women turn red right here. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. When we get excited, some women turn red right here. So a lot of times if you're on a sales call, that means something important to you, or you're speaking in front of a group and you know that this is going to turn all red, wear something that covers it.
How about this one? What body language do you recommend for a job interview?
Okay, definitely not this one. How many times do you see a person waiting for a job interview that's sitting like this? And then they get up, and unless they know what they're doing, how do they shift that energy level? The body language you want for I'm going to talk about this really quickly. There's a lot of, I'm going to go back here so you can see. There's a lot of different body languages, but this one is the most difficult to maintain. This is called leveler. And what it means is that you are just completely comfortable in your body. You're not stressed. You're not worried about anything, and you are grounded. Your energy is here, your feet are on the ground, you're grounded really solidly, and this just automatically creates trust and rapport. This is how you want to be when you're speaking on a stage, unless you're making a specific point and you want to go this way, or you want to go this way, or you want to, but can you imagine if I say, yeah, you should come and get my program, it's really, really great. You're not going to believe me because I'm delivering an incongruent body message. A lot of people will do this one. In the industry, we call that covering the naughty bits. A lot of people will stand this way because you're protected this way. So it's often very difficult to go from here to here and breathe and be confident in yourself. So back at the job interview, I always suggest that even while you're preparing, go to the restroom before you go and do like, yes, yes, yeah, whoo, whoo, whoo. Get your energy up and hold it. Put your shoulders back, a smile on your face, and watch. Do you start going like this? If your mind is telling you, oh my God, I'm starting to lose this, I'm not going to get this job, watch what happens to your body while you're doing that. It does this. Go like this. put a smile on your face, and remember who you are. Since the beginning of time, there has never been anyone like you, and there never will be again.
Alexanne, that was awesome. I love the body. So great. That's so great. Here's another great question. How did NLP come into existence?
1971, there are two guys at the University of Santa Cruz, one by the name of John Grinder, who was a professor of linguistics, another by the name of Richard Bandler, who was a mathematician. And when he took John's class, he was so entranced by what John did that he switched over to psychology. They then started studying psychologists for the ability to model excellence. If someone can do something really, really well, why can't you? They studied like the words people used, the way they held their body, their faces, their thoughts, the step-by-step process that they arrived at excellence. And when they tore it apart, videos, transcription, word by word, body language by body language. And that was the beginning of NLP. And they wrote, actually Bandler with Grinder wrote a thesis called The Structure of Magic 1 and 2, where they dove into the linguistics and the body language and everything else around it. And that was when it started in 1971. That was when Timothy Leary was taking acid. Werner Erhard was creating Landmark. There were so many brilliant people doing so many brilliant self-development things during the 1970s.
Mm. And you spoke a little bit about the job interview, but the question came up as, how does NLP transfer into a professional career? And how can we use it to really create a powerful, up, like taking ourselves one level up in our professional career?
NLP includes body language. So, I became thrilled with body language. So I veered off and learned a lot about body language, a lot more than you learn in NLP. NLP does study the model of excellence. It studies how you make your decisions, when you made your decisions. It helps you through the blocks that are holding you back and gives you tools for communication that are richer and stronger than almost anything I've run across. So in sales, it helps you build rapport. As a manager, it helps you understand where the people who are working for you, where they're coming from, how to bring your team together, which person does what in which way, and how they think in their world. Because we all think our world is reality, and in reality, it's just made up in our minds, pretty much. And that's how we live our lives, based on our past experiences and the decisions we've made and the things how we've made life mean for us. I don't know if that answered the question. I kind of got off there.
I think you did a great job. And one of the things, I'm curious, what does it take to become an NLP trainer? Like, how long did that take for you?
Yeah, it took me about 600 hours of training. And initially, when they told me how to do it, they did it's going to take you 5 years. And I did this. No. So I did it in 2 years, and I just dedicated my life to learning about it. Each level, and I certify in 2 levels, and I'm about to create a trainer program so that I certify in 3. Each level takes about 120 hours. You can learn it online. You can go to a training where you do 10 days for 12 hours a day, or I don't teach it that way. I like to do it over 3 months. And over those 3 months, you integrate what you learn, work with clients one-on-one, or work with each other one-on-one, depending upon whether you're doing it for a business or for personal transformation. And I bring strangers in who have never been exposed to NLP and demo how to work on someone, so we have a real idea of how someone who's never been exposed to NLP will react when we use the tricks and tips and techniques. We
Really
had a
good.
9-year-old in our last class. The 9-year-old would literally collapse on the floor screaming when she saw a spider. Literally, she turned, even just to talk about it in the class, she turned all red. She got all sweaty, everything. Her hands were shaking and was one step short of just falling on the floor just to even talk about spiders. Can't turn a page with a spider picture on it, can't look at anything. In less than an hour, that phobia disappeared. She never had to look at a spider, never had to touch a spider. And 3 weeks after the intervention, she sent me a picture of herself holding a sign that said, "I just killed a spider."
Well, I love spiders, so
They don't bother me.
they eat the stuff that I don't like, so it's perfect for me. They
What,
catch
like
the little
broccoli?
bugs. Huh?
What, like broccoli less?
Yeah, no, because I love broccoli.
Okay.
One of the other questions that popped up actually came to me in a text was this: how are memories formed?
This is an interesting question because our memories are formed. They believe that we can hear in the womb now, and they're formed before we ever even have language. We create what in NLP we call an internal representation. I like to say it's like a pearl. So the very first time you experience anything, let's say anger, inside your body it goes, you make a pearl or an internal representation of that experience. And you kind of hold it in there. You don't have language yet, but you've got a feeling around it. Then the next time you're exposed to anger, inside somehow you say, haha, this is the same thing, and you stick another pearl on the necklace. Eventually, you've got pearl after pearl after pearl, and we do it for everything. Anger, fear, guilt, sadness, happiness, love, bliss, joy. We just make all these strands of pearl necklaces of similar experiences. What happens when you get language is you can put a word to that memory. Those internal representations, especially the negative emotions, we're never taught how to handle those negative emotions. When you're a child and you get angry, not all the time, but 9 times out of 10, you'll hear, "Don't talk to me that way. Go to your room. Who do you think you are? Take a time out. I don't need to listen to this." So you stuff that negative emotion back there. Your unconscious mind's highest intention is to protect you. So it keeps those stuffed until a really quiet moment. Ever have a time when you're driving in the car or you're in the shower or you're just sitting in nature and all of a sudden a memory from the past, a bad memory, will fly into your head and you'll be experiencing it in your body. You'll just like, oh my gosh, why am I remembering this? And you stuff it back. NLP works with those unconscious memories and helps you rewire those memories so that you can carry them from the past all the way out into the future, having created new decisions, new neural pathways, new understanding of who you are. Did that make sense?
Phenomenal. Excellent. I mean, I use it all the time in my coaching. So it's, I just love how you put it. I love what you say. And I'm super excited to join you. This is for everybody, to join you in the Zoom room. And I just want to make sure that everybody gets a chance. You did such a great job on this slide. On this slide, it is your phone number and your web address. So we'll just keep this up here for a moment to make sure that people have a chance to grab this information. If they're on a mobile phone, have them do a screenshot and they can capture it later on. So really, Alexanne, I just so appreciate you. It's been great having you as a friend for all the years.
Yeah.
I loved working with you, and I'm excited to hear all of what you're up to. And thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, everyone. It's just been an absolute pleasure.
And I look forward to seeing you in the Zoom room.
Okay, so I'll be there in a minute.
All right. And you remember, it's just the same Zoom room that I had given, that we were at the other day too.
Yeah, I've got that link in my email.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. And just a quick reminder to everybody to go to the Zoom room. And you'll see that is being popped up into the chat on Facebook. For those of you that did register, you will have gotten an email. So please make sure you check your email. There's also this, for me, this is an opportunity in the Zoom rooms to do some networking and ask for referrals. So please come and visit us. Visit joinagc.com for our upcoming events. We have weekly talks airing live weekly during the morning, midday, and evening across the country. Thank you to Gandhi Wong and Global IT for supporting our website and making it capable for our members to create profiles, connect, and direct message all inside of our website. It's absolutely incredible. If you are looking for a community to plug into that values motivation, educations, relationships, referrals, and more closed business, please join AGC by going to joinagc.com and becoming a member for only $1 per day. Now, I'd like to say thank you for everybody. This is Coach Les saying goodbye from St. Paul's AGC. We'll look forward to the next time seeing you here the fourth Thursday of the month. Take care.